All right, guys, welcome back to the UA Workshop channel. Today we're going to go over a little bit about FX barrel kits, liners, the carbon fiber liners, how to install those, and how to swap the different parts on the FX on the impact barrel system. So what you'll mostly need is going to be a 3mm wrench, or a 3mm Allen, and then 11mm open end wrench. So to swap the liner, all you have to do is remove the shroud. This is one of our custom impacts that we can put together for you guys. It's got the air marks and top rail, and then a saber bottom rail on here. So you'll spin that shroud off. It's the threaded section that locks onto is really long, so it feels like you're going to be spinning forever to get it off. Just keep going, it'll come off there for sure. Then you're going to take your 11mm wrench and put it on your barrel nut here. And those are usually pretty snug from the factory. Just gonna unthread that. And then this is your liner. They're usually pretty snug in here. They're just held in with O-rings inside the barrel housing here. So you'll just grab onto it and pull that out. When you remove that, you wanna make sure that those O-rings come with it. On a 700 mil, you're generally gonna see about anywhere from 2 to 4 O-rings on there. So what we'll do, just when we're swapping them, just turn the gun upside down and kind of tap it on the end to make sure any of those O-rings in there. This one only had 2. We've been seeing that on the newer production guns, that they only have 2 O-rings in there. Then you'll take your new liner. We carry those. This one in particular is a 22-700 heavy. What the heavy means is that it has a faster twist rate. So your standard liner, you can look up the twist rates online. It's going to have a slower twist rate. What that means is the twist of the rifling is going to be slower or faster depending on what kind of projectiles you're shooting. So this, it being a heavy liner, is a 1 in 16 twist. So in 16 inches, the rifling makes one complete revolution. So what you want to do is look for, on the end of the liner, the breech end, it's going to have a ring crimped into the end here that goes around. The muzzle end is going to be just have the rifling there. So you're going to take your O-rings, slide them onto the liner, and kind of do your best to space them evenly. Here's our other O-ring here. So I usually space them about like that. When you put it into the barrel housing, it's going to push that O-ring, so I kind of like to bias it more towards the end. So you'll slide that in. You can kind of give it a twist to help that O-ring get in there. So a little bit of lube can help too. Sometimes those O-rings want to stick inside the housing. So you'll push that in. You want to make sure it's pushed back all the way. You'll usually have about a 1/4 inch or so sticking out when it's back. Then you'll thread your barrel nut on. These need to be snug. They don't need to be, super tight. I just tighten it down hand tight, and then maybe give it a 1/4 turn past hand tight. And then you'll slide your shroud back on, spin that down. And that's it. That's how to swap a liner. If you're installing one of the carbon fiber sleeves that FX produces as well, instead of those O-rings, you would install this carbon fiber sleeve around the liner and then slide it all in together. These are a little easier to install than the O-rings. Some guys see better rigidity out of them. It's kind of one of those things, you just have to test it, and they're cheap enough that you can buy one for about 35 bucks, give it a try and see if it works for you. How it gives you tension is when you tension on that barrel nut, it's going to compress this, and that makes the whole system stiff. If you're actually going to change lengths or calibers on the gun, we have a little bit more in-depth video about caliber swaps, but as far as lengths, this is a 22, and if you're going to this 22-500 mil barrel, all we would need to do is loosen up the retaining screw and then the 2 clamp screws for the front here, pull the barrel out, and then just slide in our new barrel, making sure that whichever transfer port we want to use is down. This is kind of a a setup we set up for some guys that like the super short setup. They'll do the 500 mil barrel and then a moderator like a Donnie FL Tonto or a Koi or an Impulse 1200 or the new Donnie FL Ryu. Those are all options that should work with this. So that's kind of how that all works. If you guys have questions or anything, let us know. Feel free to give us a call at any time. We're more than happy to help you out in the workshop. Thanks.